Fine. In the last session, we discussed about users part, right? We have implementation user and employee user, and what is the difference, how we can just, what is the role of employee user, and we'll talk about implementation user, what tasks we cannot perform within the application being a implementation user we discussed. To start with the implementation, which roles we have to assign, we discussed these are the three roles we have to assign to any user if you want to work on the application as a consultant. Privileges, those are these three roles: application implementation consultant, IT security manager, and employee user. Each role will give the privileges to specific area. Accordingly, you can work on the application for configuration or other activities. So, and this is just information that again we don't need to repeat that. So now we'll talk about FSM, functional setup manager. Okay, we'll talk about function setup manager. So we discussed about functional setup manager as we can perform the configuration within the application. Yes, we can do the any application related setups by using the function setup manager. How do you get access to FSM? With the help of application implementation consultant role. Fine. So when I talk about function setup manager, we have to understand certain terms. So we have applications like financials, SCM, and PPM, project portfolio management, HCM, CRM, and there are many other product families we have. So PPM stands for project portfolio management. As per EBS, it's a project suite which consists of project costing, billing, project management, resource management, and etc. HCM, human capital management, okay, which is from PeopleSoft product. In EBS, we have a HRMS solution the same way, CRM from CBIL. So financial system, these are the different product families. So as per Fusion applications within the FSM, functional setup manager, all these we call as offerings. Financials we call as offering. Okay. SCM we call as offering.
Lakshman, I mean, just one quick question. Sorry for the interfering.
No issue.
Okay. So there is something sales cloud, sales marketing, and the user experience. Those are not part of the ERP. There are separate independent products, but integrated with ERP.
Yes, sales and all we have. Sales also is part of CRM.
There is the Oracle Marketing Cloud and Sales Cloud and User Experience. It's all part of the CRM tools. Is that right?
No, all are not. The sales cloud is part of CRM. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah. Fine. So these all we call as offerings. Okay. As per FSM, financials we call as offering. SCM we call as offering. The same way, other product families also we call as offering. So again, if you take financials, within the financials we have different applications. Say we have GL, AP, AR, CM, and FA primarily. So financials we are calling as offering as for FSM. Within the financials, what are the modules or called as applications? What are the applications we have as a part of financial offering? Those we call as options. Okay. Each application we call as option. The product families we are calling as offering. Within the product family, what are the applications we have? Those we are calling as options. So when you get access to fresh instance, the very first task what we have to do is for which offerings and which options client is taking the subscription, those we have to enable. Okay, the very first task is we have to enable the offerings and options for what clients subscribed. So that we can do from FSM. First we have to enable offerings and options. Done. After enabling offerings and options, we have to create the implementation project. Say create implementation project. Create implementation project. So what does it mean by implementation project? We know when we talk about project life cycle, so we'll start with the project. Yeah, we'll start with the project, then we'll do the kind of planning. I'm just talking about project life cycle, project management life cycle. We'll start with the project. Once we win the project, just will be planning how that need to be executed. Then we execute the project. Then manager will just manage and then control the project related activities. Finally, we'll finish the project. We'll start and we'll close the project. Say. So these are the 5 phases if you look at project management. Okay. We'll start, we'll plan the execution, we'll execute the project, and we'll manage and the manager will manage and control the project activities, and finally we'll close the project. So as a consultant, when we are working on the project, here we'll just come into the picture in this phase, execution. Again, within the execution, there will be a number of activities. We are not going to discuss very detailed level, just to understand this point only. We are focusing on few terms. Say for example, we'll take the requirement. Okay, we'll configure the system. You may test, and you will just conduct CRPs, UATs, etc. And finally, we'll configure production, and the system will go live. There are many other activities in between, but not required for us. Done. So this is a project management life cycle, and within that, as a part of execution, the consultant will take the requirement, they'll design the solution, they'll configure, they'll test, again finally production configuration, migration, a lot of documents preparation, etc., etc. Finally system will go live. Out of this, again within the execution, there are a number of phases, right? Out of that, so one of the key activities, system configuration. To manage this system configuration, you can create the implementation project in the system. So this is the meaning of creating the implementation project in the Session applications. You should not relate this with project costing or billing or some other applications. Purely to manage, when you are doing the system configuration, to manage your configuration related information, we have to create the implementation project within the Fusion applications. Any question on this point, please? Further, we will be discussing more information on the same, but just to understand what is the meaning of implementation project, please. Any questions on this?
Lakshman, Mansi here. Is it mandatory to create implementation project?
It is not mandatory if you are just going to perform the setups, but if you want to move the setups from one instance to another instance, project is mandatory.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions? Fine. So we have to create the implementation project. When you are creating the implementation project, what is the purpose of implementation project? To manage the configuration. Okay, to manage your configuration. So as a part of implementation project creation, what we have to do is we have to select the offerings and options. Okay, as a part of implementation project creation, just will provide the name, and we will be selecting, we have to select which offerings and which options we are going to implement with for the client, those we will be selecting as a part of implementation project. After that, once you create implementation project, system creates task list. Say for example, we created implementation project by selecting financials, and within the financials all options. Okay, we selected offering called as financials, and all the options we selected, and we created implementation project. The moment you create the implementation project, automatically system will create the task list. Task list is nothing but list of setups which we have to perform. When you talk about payables AP, the task list is nothing but what are the setups we do to implement the payables application. In the same way, for each application, system will create the task list. Okay, task list is nothing but list of setups which need to be performed. Once system will create the task list, what we can do is we can assign specific offering or specific option or particular task list or specific task. Okay, we can assign the entire offering or within the offering specific option or multiple options, and task list or specific tasks to team members. Okay, we can assign. So what we can do is how many resources are working for this project. For those resources, you can specify which resource is working for which option or which offering or which list of setups or very specific task. That everything you can specify within the project itself. Within the implementation project, you can specify that, so that whenever you look into the project, you can get the information which resources are working for the project, who is responsible for which module implementation, or who is responsible for which offering implementation. We can understand. Just this is for information purpose only. Once consultants will start working on the project, they can update the status against their relevant or associated area. Okay, we can update status of configuration. Okay, the consultants who are working for the project, they can update the status. So here offering means, we know maybe you may assign for one consultant entire financials, or else you may assign only GL and AP to one consultant, or else only AP to one consultant. Otherwise, you have a two resource will be working for AP. Within the AP,
Mr. Laxman, could I ask a question? Do you have in this setup documentation like we had in AIM or OUM to guide the configuration work? Do you have documentation that basically drives the configuration work that is shared within the team?
I'll take you through that. The Oracle is providing
Okay.
a list of setups for each application, as well as offering wise also. The same you can see within the instance itself.
Okay.
Yeah. But other documentation, what we are referring, AIM and all, that's totally different. So this documentation, when you are dealing with this application, that's up to your PMO decision or your project decision, where you want to go with the AIM, which is a outdated methodology, or OUM, Oracle Unified Methodology, or your own methodology, or else you may not prepare documentation also, which is a very bad practice. Okay, that's up to the project management decision. But within the application, when we are dealing with all this, for which application, what are the setups we have, which are mandatory, which are optional, everything Oracle given. Yeah, we'll see that. Fine. So if you talk about payables, if you are going to assign two resources for payables, the entire setups you can just assign to the two resource with the help of task list, or else specific task you want to assign to one team member, that also you can do within the project. Okay, that's all about assigning. Once specific offering or option or any other uh, assignments are done for specific team member, they can start working on application accordingly. They can update the status. When you talk about status, say for example we assign payables application to one consultant for implementation, nothing but system configuration. So they'll have an option to update the status as not yet started or in progress or setups are completed. This is how the consultants can start updating the status of their work, so that we'll be able to track the entire progress of the project. We can track the status of the project. Here when you refer the term called as project, it's all about system configuration only. Okay, system configuration only, nothing else. So here we are creating the implementation project to execute the system configuration, that's all. So this and all we can do as a part of functional setup manager. Apart from that, we can create configuration packages. We can create configuration packages. With the help of configuration packages, we can move the setups from one instance to another instance. Okay, if you want to do this activity, you should have a project, but without creating the project also you can complete the setups. Say for example we created one implementation project, we performed configuration for all the financial application, and you can delete your implementation project. There won't be any issue with your setups. Okay, so implementation project is just framework which will allow you to perform the setups, which will allow you to navigate to specific task and to complete the setup. Each setup which we do within the application, that we call as a task. That is a term we use here. Okay, everything we can find as a task. So we can create the configuration packages which will help us to move the setups from one instance to other instance. Apart from that, you can run the reports which talks about your system configuration. You can run the various reports which shows which setups are completed, which are in progress, which are not started, with the different statuses. System will generate the reports to get to know your configuration status for specific offering or option or entire project level. So this is what we have to understand before we get into the applications. Any questions on this, please?
Lakshman, so we have to assign a project to the project manager, right?
When you are creating the implementation project, by default, from which user you are creating the project, that user the project will get assigned. But ideally it's not mandatory that person should be a project manager. Reality, the project is created by consultants only, not manager. It's all about configuration. What manager can do with the configuration? Nothing. The entire project manager can manage, can uh, take care of all the entire project execution, but not configuration. So that is the reason that's how this the term project is different from real project execution. This is a project which is related to configuration. Okay, who takes care of configuration? Consultants. Okay, we don't just prefer to associate this project to manager or someone else. Ideally, we go and create the project. From which user you are creating that project, the project will get assigned to that person, or else you can change that assignment also. So nobody is going to have a control. I mean, if you associate this project to someone, the person will not have any control. Here, what are the points we discussed? These are all just for information. There won't be any control in the system process. I'll go and assign payables to so and so consultant, say Mr. X. I'll assign AP configuration to Mr. X. Anyone can go on to do the configuration. That is just for information. There won't be any control in the system because of these assignments and status, etc. Say we created project. After creating the project, I'll go and update the status as we completed entire implementation, but still system will allow you to do the setups. Okay, so there won't be any control on the this project related components, that could be offerings or options or team members assignment or status update, etc., etc. Do anything, no control, just for information. When you talk about our project accounting, they are based on the project status. You may set certain restrictions, but here it's a totally different. It just to manage your configuration information. Instead of maintaining the information outside of the system, they're given the flexibility to maintain that information also within the system environment. Only this is a point we have to understand. We no need to compare and correlate this project with some other real project execution or etc. Any questions, please? Any questions from anyone? No questions. Fine. Now first we'll go and see how to enable the offerings and options. How to enable the offerings and options. In fresh instance, we have to enable. If you don't enable at the time of implementation project creation, you don't see any offering or option for project creation. You may not create the project, but still you have to enable if you want to start with the implementation. Okay, so this is what we have to understand. I will connect to the instance and we'll see how to enable the offerings and options, and the rest also will go through. Right. In the last session, we created one user called as ERP1. We log into the instance with the same user. Fine. Now first we have to navigate to FSM. Okay, we have to navigate to FSM. How to navigate to FSM? You can click on the username and it will open the panel. Within the panel you can find a task called as setup and maintenance. Setup and maintenance. If not from here, what you can do is you can go to navigator. Okay, within the navigator also you can find the task called as setup and maintenance. Okay, here is the task. From within the navigator you can see the task called as setup and maintenance. If not from the navigator, you can click on username. Okay, next to user we have a drop down option that is opening this panel. Just click on setup and maintenance. It will take us to FSM homepage, functional setup manager homepage. Fine. Here we have a task list. Within this area we have a number of tasks. Just click on the task list or call it as task panel. Okay, here you have first task called as manage implementation project. Just click on manage implementation project so that you can see all the projects which are created within this instance. There are many projects. Okay, there are many projects. You can create a number of projects within one instance, but reality, when you do the implementation for our client, we create only one project. And again, you may think on the point when you are doing the implementation, how many projects you have to create. If you are doing the implementation for one client for one country, one project is enough. If you are doing the implementation for one client for multiple countries, say you are going to do the implementation for 10 countries, you can create 10 projects. Maybe with the country specification you can create 10 projects. Why you are creating the project? just to manage the configuration part, that's all, nothing else. Okay, the overall it could be one project only, but in the system point of view, to manage the country specific configuration, you can create each country separate project. Otherwise, even if you are doing the implementation for 10 countries, if you want to create single project, nothing goes wrong, you can do it. Okay, so all the time you have to switch from one ledger to another ledger, one BU to another BU, one legal entity to another BU legal entity, since you are doing the implementation for multiple countries and you are using only one project. But still you will be able to manage. Some switching would be required if you are going to use one project for multiple countries implementation. Ideally, for each country we create one project. If you want to create, if you are doing the implementation for one country and again you are going to implement financials, SCM, HCM, PPM. Take example, you are going to implement these 4 offerings. So with the 4 offerings you can create one project, or for each offering also you can create the separate project, but that much detailed project definition is not required. So for one country, ideally we create one project. Within that project we'll have all the offerings and you can start working on the system for configuration. So this is what we have to understand. Any questions on this point, please? Okay, fine, no questions. So since this is a vision environment, you can see n number of projects here. Okay, we have a big list of projects. But when you are working for the client project, you may create one, or else for testing purpose and all other purposes you may create one more. So that's how we create the project. This project will use for configuration. One system will go live, the same project will use for maintenance purpose also. If you want to perform additional configurations and if you want to do some changes for existing setups, so for that purpose we'll use the project. Say you created project and you completed setups, and if I delete the project, your setups will remain same. Again, to access the same setups you may create project again, but again you don't need to do the setups. Okay, so that's how it works. So this is these all are the projects. If I want to delete the project, I can select this project, I can say delete. You can do it, but by using this project, what are the setups already completed, those will remain same. Those, if you want to access, you can access from other project also, there won't be any issue. Okay, done. Just click on done, we'll come out from this page. Okay, so how we are navigating to this FSM? I have to click on the username, then click on setup and maintenance. We'll be landing on this page. Now in the fresh instance, what we have to do, the very first activity is we have to enable the offerings. And before enabling the offering, what offering consists of, what option consists of, that information also we can see how. So in this page you can see actions. Go to these actions. Any question? Somebody's unmuted. Fine. Go to actions and here select go to offerings. Okay, go to actions and select, just click on go to offerings. So here you can see all the offerings which are available within this instance. Okay, these are the different offerings. Already we discussed what is the meaning of offering. Specific product family is by default offering. Sometimes particular module also they are giving as offering. The reason is, so the modules which are built and they released as a later stages, those instead of including the existing offerings, they given as a separate offerings also. But by default the offering means specific product family. Option means particular application. Now these are the different offerings which you can see within this instance. So compensation management, that is separate offering. So what is the purpose of this? You can see this. The same way there are many offerings as a part of this instance. So here say procurement. If you select procurement, your system will display the what it consists of, very high level, the procurement. Okay, so it covers the procurement process, including the requisition, purchase order, and supplier negotiations. Okay, if you here you could see related documents. If you expand, you can see the documents which talks about procurement. So associated features within the procurement, what features we have, and to implement the procurement, what are the setups need to be performed, complete setups, including optional and mandatory setups, and this related business objects and related enterprise application. This is nothing, just we cannot take advantage from that documents, but anyway we'll go through it. So this is how for any offering you can find the relevant information. So here is our financials. I'm selecting financials offering. What this financial offering consists of, that you could see here. So with this financial offering, you can configure how your financial flow should work, including assets. Assets means as a part of these financials, we have fixed assets module. Ledger is nothing but here you have to understand as general ledger. And cash cycle, it's nothing but cash management. Invoice and payments, it's a payables. Okay, account receivable, it's a receivables application. Collections is nothing but advanced collection module, and setting up subledger applications and tax configuration, nothing but fusion tax as per EBS EBT. So this is how you can find the brief introduction about the offering. Once you select, system will display, and here you could see the related documents. Okay, so the documents, the associated features related to financial offering and task lists are tasks and related business objects and enterprise application related information related to this offering. All you can see that information is available in these three different formats. You can download these associated features which are related to financials in the PDF format or HTML or Excel. We'll just go and download the associated features. What are the different features are part of these financials? If you want to know that, you can click, just you can download this associated features guide with this specific format. Okay, I'm just selecting the PDF format. Open this. Okay, so if you go through this, you can understand what are the different features are associated within the financials with a very broad level classification. See here, the payables, configure fusion payables to manage supplier invoice, process payments and transfer information to general ledger. Okay, and the other information also, invoice routing, account code, etc., etc. You can just go through it. You can understand what are the different features we have for each and every applications which are part of financials offering. The same way for receivables related, you can go through it. Okay, so anyway you'll get access to instance, so you can just, when you have access to instance, you can just, you may spend some time to go through it. And the other document is detailed setups. Okay, setup task lists and tasks. Just download the same. Okay, here you can see the complete configuration. These are the detailed setups. For example, I'll just search for a specific setup. One second. We'll see few setups. Okay, define payment options. Okay, manage interest rates. So here just you could see the task name is this, and type is task, and description what purpose we do that setup, and it belongs to which product module, and product family nothing but it belongs to which offering, whether it is required or not. Okay, no. Conditionally yes means if you are using the relevant feature then only it is required. Otherwise, just to implement payables application, you don't need to do this withholding tax certification related definition. Conditionally yes, that means if you are implementing that solution that is required. This ADF task flow, it's for technical purpose, for technical people, for mapping and all they'll use. This is web service, okay, which we use for integration purpose through SOA. So this is for technical people, but this is just for us to understand. So what are the tasks we have and what we can do with the specific task. The task is mandatory or optional. Okay, everything you can see. Task is required, no, no. Here conditionally required, yes. So you may just spend some time to go through it. But anyway, we are going to say everything in the classes just for information purpose. You may go through it. The other documents, nothing, just the given that as a consultant we cannot take any information from that. If you want to look into, you can see that. Okay, related business objects. Okay, so here also just some business objects classification they did, 1099 taxation for US and etc, all they given. And again the web services, if they want to for inbound or outbound integrations, if technical people want to consume these business objects, what is the web service they have to use, and the current instance URL what they have to use, all the details you could see here. And enterprise related applications. Just open this document. Okay, not required for us. Okay, the enterprise application, the classifications. Okay, they did for SOA related, the integrations URL. Okay, FSCM, the finance and SCM related URL to connect for technical purpose and all they'll use this. So this is how you can find out what the any offering consists of and the related documents. Now we'll see how to enable this financial offering, and within the offering how to enable the options we'll see. Okay, now just click on opt-in features. Click on opt-in features tab. It will take us to the page where we can enable the offering and option. So this is a visual instance. So that is the reason already this is within this environment, this financial offering is enabled. Within the financial offering, what are the options we have, those also enabled. In the fresh instance, okay, you could see this as a disabled mode. You have to enable it. You have to enable this. So you have to enable the financials. Once you enable, one second. Okay, so first you have to enable this. Once you enable, this will be expanded, and within this financials, which applications you are going to implement, those you can enable. So you are going to implement GL APR, that's all. You are not going to implement fixed assets. In that case, you don't need to enable fixed assets. So general ledger, okay, so once you enable, automatically the general ledger will be enabled. The reason is if you want to use financial applications or any applications as a part of EBS or Fusion, general ledger is the common one. Here only we build common configuration. It's nothing but ledger definition. That is the reason once you enable financials, you don't need to enable general ledger. Automatically system will enable it. If you want to implement payables application, you have to enable the payables. Once you enable the payables, automatically the supplier and the payable section system will enable. Supplier invoice processing is nothing but payables application. Once you enable this, automatically these two options also system will enable. And if you want to implement expense, nothing but fusion expense as per EBS I expense, you have to enable this expense. And if you want to implement fixed assets, yes, you have to enable it. And to implement receivables application, you have to enable customer invoice processing checkbox. Automatically system will enable receivables. Customer invoice processing, nothing but receivables only. In addition to that, if you want to implement advanced collections also, you have to enable collections. Okay, you have to enable collections. And again, we have a revenue management cloud service. This is, if you are going to implement, if you have a subscription for that also, you have to enable. The rest are associated information, those also you can enable. It's a business intelligence reporting purpose for these modules. If you want to utilize business intelligence BA reporting, which is inbuilt solution in the fusion application, you can enable this. This is how you have to enable. So whatever you enable here, those only you can select at the time of project creation. Okay, project creation, you don't see module called as cash management. When you enable any one of payables or receivables, by default that would be available for bank statement reconciliation and bank accounts creation and etc. So this is how you take any offering. Okay, take any offering. So this is how we have to enable. If you look at procurement, I'm selecting procurement. If you are going to implement procurement for your client, select procurement, click on opt-in features. And your procurement also already enabled in this, within this instance, since it is a vision instance. Expand it as a part of procurement. What options we have? These are the different options. Okay, so once you enable the procurement, by default system will enable the supplier part. So purchasing, within the procurement, purchasing is one of the module, and supplier portal is one module, sourcing is one module, supplier qualification and procurement contracts, these are different applications as a part of procurement. Okay, suppliers purchasing, supplier portal as per EBS iSupplier, the sourcing application same as EBS supplier qualifications. Okay, and the procurement contracts. So this is how just we have all this. If you can expand this purchasing again within the purchasing. So these are the other offerings, which is self-service procurement as per EBS iProc. Okay, again within that they included payables also as a part of purchasing. Also, if some client is going with a procurement solution, if they are going to opt P2P cycle subscription, in that case the same payables also they can find within the purchasing itself. Okay, supplier invoicing and supplier invoice process means payables application only. Okay, that's what here the same you could say. So these are the different applications. So purchasing, self-service procurement, supplier portal, sourcing, supplier qualification, procurement contract. These are the different applications which are part of procurement offering. So what you required, what you don't require, accordingly you can select. Fine, this is how we have to enable. After enabling, we can go and create our project. We'll see how to create the implementation project. It's very simple. Go to task list. Just click on manage implementation projects. So here you can see all existing projects. In case of fresh instance, you don't see any project here. Whatever the project you will create, that will be the first project. To create new project, click on create. Okay, to create the new project, click on create. So here you can provide the project name. By default system is taking the project name, project code, project description, and project status. It is taking as a not started, and it is automatically system is assigning this project to the current user. Okay, ERP1. So that's how the system is creating. Now we can provide the name for this project. Say ERP1 implementation project. We just treat ERP1 is client name. Just tab out, the same system will default as a code and description also. You don't need to write, it will default. And if you are okay to assign this project to the current user, you can accept the same, or else you can change the assignment. If you want to assign this project to some other person, you can do it. Okay, but make sure that that person information is available as a user within the application. So I want to assign to ERP tree. This is how you can change the assignment, but there is no use at all, just providing the information. This person, this user is not going to have any control on the project, just it is association only. So starting date by default system is taking today's date, and you can provide finish date, the tentative date you can provide approximately by which date as per your project plan when you are going to complete the project. That's totally overall project, but as per your configuration execution plan, when you are by which date you will be completing the setups within the system for this specific project, that you have to specify. It's not mandatory, optional, you may specify this. Even after this date also you'll be able to perform the setups by using this project. This is just for information how you planned your configuration within this project environment. That's all. So these are the details you have to provide as a part of project definition. Then click on next. Now whatever the offerings and options enabled within this instance, all you could see here. Now what are the offerings you see here? The financials and marketing, etc. All these offerings are available within this instance and enabled also. These offerings are available and enabled within this instance. Only enabled offerings only you can see here. Once you expand offering, you can find the options also inside of the offering. So just now we have seen how to enable. By following the same process, all these offerings are enabled within this instance. Yes, procurement is enabled. That is the reason you can see here at the time of project creation. The same way financials also already enabled. We are able to see here. Okay, now for this project, which offerings and options you require, that you have to include into this project. Okay, you can include into this project. So financials, against financials, here we have one checkbox called as include. I'm including financials. Okay, we are including financials, but within the financials, which applications we are going to implement for this client, that also you have to select. So we are including financials. Maybe you are going to implement payables and receivables only. GL you don't need to select separately. By default it will come whenever you enable the financials. So enable financials, and I enable supplier invoice process means payables, customer invoice processing means receivables. That means you will be able to implement GL and AP and AR. If you want to implement fixed assets also, enable. If you enable expenses, you can implement the expenses also. If you enable collections, you can implement collections. The same way, some other areas also, whatever you are going to implement accordingly, you can include into this project. Okay, some reporting capabilities also you want to use, which is inbuilt solution for financials or any other application, that also I want to include for fixed assets, general ledger, BA reporting, and accounts payables. Okay, employee related, expense related BA reports you want to create, all you can include. So this is how you can include. The same way for other offerings and options also you can include into your project. Then say save and open project. Now what system will do is, whatever the options are included into this project, for all those options it will create the setup list, that only we call as a task list. Okay, now system will generate the task list for our all the included options. For supplier invoice processing means payables. For payables, it will list out all the setups which need to be performed. The same way for expenses, nothing but fusion expense, assets, receivables, and all. So system created this folder here. Okay, financials. So if you want to include additional offerings also, you can include. So at the time of project creation, we included only financials. Now we want to include procurement into this project. So if you want to include procurement into this project, click on add. Okay, just click on add. and search and select the procurement. Search for procurement. Okay, select procurement and say apply. So procurement also system will include in our project. You can see in the background the procurement is added. Now you can say done. Fine. So whenever you include any offerings or options into the project, automatically system will create the task list. Let's expand this financials. So whatever you see the subfolders all are different task lists, and task lists are available module wise also. See here. So define fixed assets configuration. All FA configuration you can find within this folder. Receivables configuration, revenue management, collections, invoicing and payment configuration. Okay. So this is how you can just find out complete configuration within the project environment.
Lakshman?
Yeah.
This we can able to add anytime. Like for example, I have added financials and procurement. So for example, by mistake I added procurement, so I can remove this procurement or whatever the tasks I have been added offering.
Yes, yes. Anytime you can do that. Anytime you can add, anytime you can remove. So I'm selecting procurement. I'm deleting.
So in between the project also can we do, for example, we started and then.
No, no, no. That's what I'm saying. Anytime you can delete the project also, there won't be any issue. But ideally, we don't do that. Even if you delete also, there won't be an issue for the existing setups. That's how it works. Fine. So anytime you can add the offerings into the project. If there is some need of removing the offering from the project, yes, that also you can do. In fact, you can delete the project also, but your setups will remain same. That you may those setups you may access by creating one more project or from other existing project. So that's how it works. Any other questions here, please?
Lakshman, I have one question. Suppose the decision was to implement API and AR initially. So the task list has been generated as a financials, which will include your APAR and GL along with cash management. Later, business has decided to implement a fixed asset also. So will it be included in the same task list, in the same folder which is created as a financials?
No, it's not, it won't be included in that. In that case, again, you can add the financial in that. You can do it.
Okay, so new folder has to be created.
Yeah, or else you can just here these setups you want to do some fixed asset setups. Even without including into the project, you will be able to do it. Or else you want to include, again, just click on this add entire financial folder here. Okay, you can just continue with that. The other one existing one you may remove it. That's how you can do it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we got flexibility to do all these activities. There is no condition, there is no rule which won't allow us. Yeah, we can do that. Any other questions here, please? Just we created project.
Yeah, let's.
Further points will.
Yeah, Lakshman,
Yeah.
One more question. So, for example, in R12, we are moving the data from UA2 productions or from dev instance to UAT instance. So here also, I hope we have like features like to have complete configuration to move from one instance to another instance. So that process is there in.
I guess you joined a bit late. The point I just even yesterday also I was talking about it. Today also we discussed configuration packages. By using the configuration packages, we can move the setup data from one instance to another instance. I'll cover in our classes also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even the profile options, everything. I think there is no profile options are there in.
We have profile options in Fusion. Usage is very less.
Okay.
Usage is very less.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions, please? Please go on mute. I can hear some noise. Any questions from anyone, please? Okay, no questions. Fine. So we created project. Now this project we can assign to resource. Before that, that part also we'll see. Before that, if you want to start doing the configuration, okay, you don't need to go with this all the ways of this navigation, right? So you have to expand this, and again you have to go to, say for example, define common financial configuration or specific module related. Okay, this is how you don't need to navigate. You don't need to navigate. Even in EBS also, if you want to do the setups, instead of going with a detailed navigation path, what we do, we use Control L, right? It will list out all the functions. Simply you can select and you can proceed. Otherwise, the primary setups or primary task activities which you do, you can select into top 10 list within the navigator, right? That's how you can simplify. Here what we can do is, instead of taking the entire navigation, directly you can search for any task. Which setup you want to perform, that you can search within this field. Say I want to create accounting calendar. Simply you can search for accounting calendar. No percentage required before or after. Just enter any uh, string, some text related to the task, and it will fetch. That's it. So manage accounting calendars. So if you want to follow the navigation, this is a path. Financials. Okay, define common application configuration for financials. From there we have to further navigate to define enterprise structures for financials, define financial reporting structures, define calendars. If you go to define calendars, under define calendars you can find the task called as manage accounting calendars. We'll open instance in the different tab. The same instance you can open in the different tabs, and you can perform the different activities possible. Same instance I open in the different tabs. Under this tab we are into implementation project. Now we'll see this navigation path in this different tab. Okay, so you can open multiple tabs. In the multiple tab, in different tabs you can do different activities. Maybe in one tab you can open for configuration, another tab for some other activities, different, one more tab maybe to perform some transactions, etc. Okay, that's how you can do it. Fine. One second. So now we'll navigate to FSM from this tab also. Go to user. Just one second. Okay, go to user, click on user, click on setup and maintenance. Go to task list, click on manage implementation projects. Now here you can see our project. Same here, it's open, but here directly you can see, since we created this project just now, since this is the latest project, it is showing on top ERP1. Open this project, just click on the name, the project will be open. Now the same. Now here you could see the path, navigation path to create accounting calendar. We'll follow the same navigation. Financials, define common application configuration for financials. Expand financials. You have to go to task called as, that's basically we call it task list. Define common application configuration for financials. Define common application configuration for financials. This you can drag little right, you can see the full name. You have to expand it. Okay, after that you have to go to define enterprise structure for financials. define enterprise structure for financials, expand it. Okay, from here also you can just do it, but to take the reference of navigation, we are in the different tab. And from there we have to go to define financial reporting structures. Okay, financial reporting structures. Define financial reporting structures, expand it. Under that we have to go to define calendars. Define calendars, expand. So under that you will have find this manage accounting calendars, the same you can see. Okay, now if you want to create the accounting calendar, just you have to click on go to task icon. Okay, just click on this, it will take us to the page where we can create the accounting calendar. Okay, click on manage accounting calendars task against the task. We have a go to task icon. If once you click on that, it will take us to that page. Here there are many accounting calendars already created. You can see all this because this is a Vision instance. Okay, you can click on create and you can provide the information you can create. Okay, we don't need to enter all the periods in case of Fusion. Any we will discuss, but now just to understand how to navigate, we are going through this. Okay, fine. I'm just going here. I'm searching for the task. System is displaying this task, and I'm going to click on the same task. Manage accounting calendars. Directly it is showing. If you want to see the navigation path, here you can click on show hierarchy icon. If you want to follow the manual process how to navigate, that system will show here again. Financials, you have to go to common application configuration for financials, enterprise structures for financials, financial reporting structure, and define calendars. Then finally manage accounting calendars. Okay, for any setup directly you can search from here and you can perform. Most of the setups you can see in the sequence only. Okay, so this is the point we have to understand. Okay, that anyway will go very detailed level when we start with the setup part. Now we'll see. So this project is assigned to user called as ERP tree. Okay, this is the project header section. Any information you want to modify, you want to change the finish date, or you want to change the user assignment, or you want to change the project status. Okay, project status is not started, but they misplaced the icon, that icon for in progress. Okay, so anything you want to change related to project header section, the basic information, click on edit. Just click on edit. So you started working on this project, so you can change the status to in progress. And you want to assign this project to different user, you can assign. Select this user and say okay. You want to change the dates or you want to change the display name, project display name, you can change it. Okay, now you want to assign this entire financials to one consultant. So in that case you select financials. Here you have a assignment, assign tasks, assignment related tab. Select financial offering, click on assign tasks, and which consultant or say which team member you want to assign these financials, as that is their responsibility to complete the setups. You select that user here, click on select or say click on add icon. To which consultant you want to assign, you just find out the name if already that is available within this instance. Okay. Got refreshed. Fine, we'll do again. Click on add. Okay. We assigned entire financials, we assigned to this team member. The same financials, if you want to assign to one more resource also, yes, same process. Click on add. You can select any one of the existing user. This is how you can assign, say, save and close. This is completely just for information purpose only. No controls. No controls. So we assigned and just click on save. So entire financials we assign to two resource. You just expand. Okay, these are task lists. You can see those names against the tasks only. Task means which allows us to perform some configuration. So expand anything here. Just I'm going with the fixed assets configuration. Now here you could see. So within the fixed assets, what are the setups we have to perform? Those are already assigned to these two members. If you place cursor on one more, it shows the person name.
So Lakshman, this control will be taken care by the managers because he has to decide to whom has to take this task.
Yeah, that is for as per
Or
project plan. That is as per project plan. Like the finance consultant, ideally we assign the finance. Okay, but reality when we are doing these projects, we don't do these assignments also. Just we have this option we are discussing. So when you are working for the project, it's because of this assignment, there won't be any control in the system process. Okay, say the financials assigned to you, but still I can perform the finance configuration even I am not part of this project assignment. Who has access to FSM, functional setup manager, they can work on any project for any task. This is just for information purpose. Just if they want
okay,
to track the information as per the project configuration part, yes, they can do that assignment. Otherwise, they can ignore. In most of the projects, almost all the projects, we don't do these assignments. In every project, we know very well which resource is going to work for which modules or which area, right? Again, you don't need to address within the system. Okay, but they give an
yeah,
option. Yeah,
yeah. Thanks, sir.
yeah.
So Lakshman,
Please.
so this is as per the sequence we can go, or is it like randomly it is the
See,
setups?
sequence they given ideally, like, see, there are some setups which falls under some sequence execution. Some setups without sequence you can follow. Here within the system you can see in the sequence, if you can break the sequence where system will accept in terms of that application configuration, you can do it, or else you can go in the sequence. Anything you can do, but when you're doing one setup, if there is any dependency setup, that we have to complete anyway first. Okay.
Okay, but system is not giving any indication, right?
No, it won't give any indication. Say a simple example. When you talk about fixed assets implementation, we have to set up those three key flex fields, right? Category, location, and asset key.
Correct.
So without doing those setups also, I can create my asset calendar and prorate convention. Because when you are creating the asset calendar prorate convention, do you think the key flex field information is required? No.
No.
Right? So that's how.
Yeah.
That's how you can do it. So here I have a value sets. After value sets, I have a flex field. In case of EBS, when you are creating the structure, Within the structure, you have an option to create the value sets, but in Fusion, they made value set selection as a mandatory when you create any structure. It could be chart of account structure or any other key flexible structure. That is the reason first they given value set task. Without creating the value set, you cannot create the any structure definition, because within the structure, when you create the segment value set field, they made it as a mandatory. That is the reason in some cases the sequence you should follow. Completely depends. Once we are aware of the setups, then we can understand really we have to follow the sequence, or we can skip some step and we can proceed with other task or not. These things we can understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. So fine, here you can see that
Hello.
same information. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, I'm having a question.
Please go ahead.
Um, Under financials, there are different modules like AP, AR, etc. Right?
Correct.
Uh, can we also allocate each individual module to each user?
Yeah, the same I explained. I'm going to show that also. See here, I just specified
Okay.
assign, offering, or
Okay.
specific option. If not entire module, within the module some group of list of setups, task list, or only one task. You want to assign payment term creation to one team member. Yes, you can do it. Nothing but task. Okay. Entire
Okay.
offering,
Fine.
or within the offering specific module, or two modules or three modules, or within the one application specific task list, or one task only. Also you can assign to team member. Yes.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah. So we assigned entire financials to two resources. That is the reason you can see those two resource name. So one name only is displaying, one more name it is showing as, one more is hidden. You can just place cursor here, it will display. One second, just place the cursor on the name, the person name, it will display. Okay, this is how you can do it. Now we'll see how to associate specific module to specific resource. Same process. Say here, I'm collapsing this. Say my requirement is entire financial assign those two resource, the invoice and the payment configure, nothing but payables. This I want to assign to specific consultant. Select it. Here we have a selection space. Click on that. It would get selected. You can see in the gray color the selection. Now click on assign tasks. Assign tasks. Click on add. Now you want to assign this to different person. Select and say apply and say done. The same payables you may want to assign to one more resource also. Two resource you want to allocate this configuration. Yes, you can do it. Say save and close. Now for payables we assigned, right? Now you expand payables. Within this payables, what are the setups we have? All those setups system will display. Those setup part is allocated for three resource. Expand these payables. Just going to refresh this. Yeah. Now just expand payables. So within the payables again, these are the task lists. Okay. So just I'll expand the define payables task list. Now since payables we associated to one more resource, see now system is showing total three. Here this is one name it is displaying, two more. So this is how you could see these are associated to whom. Now I'm just clicking on this, any one of the name, or else what you can do is select this task I'm selecting. So click on assign tasks. Now it is showing this task is associated for 3 members. Now you can remove this task, need to be performed by only one person. Exceptional case you are setting. And again this task need to be completed by this resource. Second, after deleting, we'll see. Okay, I'm just going to open again. Some network error we got. Fine. Just click on assign tasks. Still it is processing. Okay. Now select this task, click on assign tasks. So you can remove assignments. Again, click on delete.
Laxman, can you tell me this thing, what permitted details, what do that represent?
Permit details in the sense to have access to this task, which roles are required. Okay, so there are many roles. You see, at the time of project user creation, we assigned application implementation consultant role, right? Along with that, we have many other roles, even application implementation manager, administrator. In the same way, there are many other roles. If you click on that permit, it will just display. So what are the other roles can provision the access to this task within the application for any user. That information you can say. I'll show you. I'll take it. Okay, from here you can delete, but now it's getting refreshed. There may be some issue with this environment with this specific task. So that's how you can do it. The same way you can enter specific task also for a specific task list. I don't want to assign this entire payables to one resource. Only supplier configuration part I want to assign to specific resource. In that case, you can select same process. Go to assign tasks. You can assign to specific team member. And say you started working on the financials. You started working on the financials. You can update the financial status as you started working on it. Directly you can click on the status, or else you can click on edit status. Before that, you have to select this offering. Click on edit status. You can set the status as in progress. You started working on the financials system configuration. Okay. Right now it is showing financials configuration in progress. Once you complete the configuration, you can set the status as completed. Edit status. You may set the status as completed. So this is once you're done with this project, also you can set the status as completed. Okay, I'm going to set back to in progress. So enter financials in progress, but say you completed payables configuration. Only for payables you can set the status as completed. select payables. Directly you can click on the status and you can change. Click on the status, it will open the same pop-up. Say completed. Okay, so here you can see out of entire project, financials, within the financials, payables setups are completed. The same way, say for example, receivables configuration also completed. You can click on this icon and you can change, or else select this task list and click on edit status. So save and close. Now this is how, like, if not entire, say consultant started working on this project, and as a part of fixed assets, I'm expanding the fixed assets. So within the fixed assets, the consultant completed only these 3 tasks. So they can change the status for specific task also. Project level, you can update the status, or offering level, or option level, or task list level, or specific task level. So this task also completed. So this task also completed. Okay, this is how we can update the status for entire project, or offering, or option, or specific task list, or task. Now, because of status, yeah, please.
Lakshman, uh, basically authorized roles are there. So a project manager giving some certain roles to specific users, or how it works?
I'll tell you
So
simply.
we have to do certain.
We never follow all those things. So who are working on the project, for that user will give the give the access to FSM by assigning the application implementation consultant. Okay, will give the access to application implementation consultant so that they can start working on the project. And there are few other roles. There are many other roles which will give the access to very few tasks access only. Okay, those you can see.
Okay.
If you click on that, ideally it has to display the list of role names. Just click on that view roles. It's not showing, basically it shows big list. Okay, the same we are facing in many instances, but basically it shows the roles. That means to access this task, to configure the same, what are the different roles will support. There are many roles will support. Okay, but so when you talk about implementation and all, we'll allow the consultants to access FSM. For that, we'll assign the role called as application implementation consultant. That's what we do. So now we do
Okay.
some changes, right? We the status changes we did. Now just say done. Okay. Now what we can do is, I'm just coming out from this entire project. Now what we can do is, we can again go to task list, say manage implementation projects. Now directly you can click on overview. Once you click on overview, what system will do is, system won't display all these projects. So out of these projects, how many projects are associated with our current user, it will display only those projects with the status also. Okay, you don't need to open from here, not required. Directly click on overview. You will get overview about your project progress. Click on overview. Yep. Now here you can see, within these projects there are around 2128 tasks. The overall project progress is in progress. It's the progress is this, and here you could see how many tasks are completed, how many in progress, or etc. So 969 tasks are already completed, and here The remaining all are in progress. The reason is entire financials we selected progress as a status as in progress. And here you can see the assignment statuses. Okay, so the same like here, in progress. We didn't set any due date. When you are assigning, you can, there is one more field called as due date, by which date it has to be completed. So in progress, this is status indicates completed. How many complete? Same. So the different representation they are showing. You can just go to the other tab called as assignment status by task list. So which part is completed, that also we are able to see here. Define invoicing and payment configuration is completed. Define receivables configuration completed, and other options. What is the status and all you can see. And resource status, which resource are associated to this project. So these resources are allotted for this project related configuration. These three resources. Okay, for this only one task we assigned, right? So the same it is showing. And for this, how many tasks for this resource, how many tasks are associated. For this resource, how many tasks are associated. This complete information you can see, you can get great visibility against the configuration what you do within the project. Okay.
So, Lakshman, I have a question.
Yeah.
So these things can be exportable.
Sorry.
This is exportable to Excel or something.
Yeah, you can export. You can export. We have a different options. Even offering wise also you can offering wise or project level or specific task list level also you can export. Here report section we have. Okay, for financials entire process you want to export. Okay, complete information for finance you can, yes, you can go to view reports, and it will fetch all the information. Okay. So these are all related to this. The first one, task configuration, you can export into spreadsheet. It will export with the progress, status, etc. All. Okay. And here many, when we are performing certain activities, here also you can see certain information. It will give option to export. So expand. Will be depending on like page and all. You will be finding options here. It shows in the actions. Okay, view information, export, you will be finding the different options, but ideally you can do from here. Want to export this data, you can do that. You have to scroll it till right. You can do that, view report. Okay, yeah, you can do this.
One more question. Everyone in the team member can view this status, like
Yes.
the same.
Yes. Yeah. Anyone who has access to FSM, they can see and they can perform any action. This is not
only
controlling purpose. This is not for any other purpose. Just for information purpose. See, if this is not there in the application itself, see, you are doing the EBS implementation. So just your manager just may maintain the some within some other tool or some spreadsheet or somewhere. So which resource are working for which project, or they may just manually capture the information which modules configuration is completed based on the dependencies or etc. All they have to maintain the separate outside of the system. Instead of doing all those here within the system, you can do again. This will enable to extract the setups and to move into another instance. Okay, so that's how everybody will have a great visibility. So within the system only it will establish the communication, where if somebody can see, they can understand. Otherwise there should be some email communication or some other channel of communication to understand what things are completed or not, or else somebody manually they have to go to the system, they have to verify. That is again big task. Okay, just to establish the communication within the system environment related to configuration, this would be useful. Apart from that, to move the setups from one instance to another instance, you can do it. If you want to move these project related setups, we use the configuration packages. By using that, you can do it. We'll be testing that also. Okay. Fine. Any questions on this, please?
Lakshman,
Yeah.
what's meant by freeze option in the screen? Freeze. It's highlighted in the blue color.
Freeze, any option. Freeze is if you want to detach this screen, okay, this page as a one more just pop up, you can freeze first, then you can detach. So I'm opening the project. You can see freeze, right? So click on freeze. The screen is freezed. Now you can detach it. Okay, I'm closing that. So it's not like something we freeze our chart of account structure in EBS, not like that. You can see this freeze in multiple pages. So that means the display you are freezing, the same can be detached. You can detach. So that is
Okay.
the freeze. Yep. The view you are freezing to detach. That's all. So any other questions here, please? Still, there is some other information which you have to understand. Once we start working on it, we'll be covering that part also, which is related to the project. But now that is not.
Hey Lakshman.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Lakshman, it's a generic question actually. See, in couple of 2 years in Fusion Financials, why these many changes? The customer is not, the customer is expecting more, or Oracle is given something than the earlier version. Why these many changes continuously versions?
You tell me what is the reason why Oracle come up with a version. You take example of EBS. What is the reason? In EBS also there are many
Hmm.
versions. What is the price?
Okay. No, after yeah. After a couple of changes, customer feel good, so that automatically changes. But whereas in Fusion, still most of the customer is not using Fusion. Still, so many changes.
Okay, fine. See, the point is very simple. So when you talk about this EBS or Fusion applications, if they are upgrading the versions, if they are just coming up with the new releases, that may not be applicable. All the releases, all the versions may not be by targeting the specific area. They'll consider entire product. Say now we are on release 13. Tomorrow, if Oracle is going to come up with release 14, you may have changes, may not have changes in the financials. Their primary focus might be on HCM and SCM. In HCM and SCM, they might have done some announcements, or they might have introduced some new features, or else just they fixed some bugs, or they might have introduced some new applications for other area, maybe in the CRM. So it's not like just when you see these changes and all 11, say 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, you can all the versions, you may not see the changes with respect to finance, which will impact a lot. Okay. When there is some new version, it may impact, may not impact. If it is impacting, maybe very few changes, maybe lot many bug fixes and few other announcements, or else there may not be one new feature also which is introduced because of new release for finance. That's how you have to see and understand. So Oracle is coming up with a new release means it's not, they are not targeting because of finance, right? The changes may be from other area, but since everything is part of the same as a one product, they have to change the version for entire stuff. That's how we refer like this versioning and all. The same logic is applicable in EBS and Fusion. Tomorrow Oracle may come up with the release 14, but you may not see changes in the for finance. There may be a number of changes in the PPM. Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Lakshman, you're going to explain about multi-org structure also, no? How is the design in Fusion?
Yes. Before we start with the configuration, we'll discuss and do it. Yeah, we'll be
Okay.
covering the same we call as enterprise structure in the Fusion. EBS multi-org structure. we call as enterprise structure.
Okay.
We'll discuss everything. We'll discuss and we'll be working on the application. We'll cover everything. After this training, you'll be able to work on the implementation project. Alone, you can work on the implementation project.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Lakshman, one small question. So, for example, if I have not created any project only, but then also I want to define a calendar and all. But in my navigator, I'm not able to see any responsibilities and all that.
You can do
It's a role as
You can do that.
okay, we can.
I'll show you. We have time. Once we start with the setups, I'll be showing the different options.
Lakshman, this the navigation is little bit confusing in this.
Yeah, we have to accept with Oracle. There is no other option. You are right. But this, let's think it's a simplified. See, simple. You are using the EBS. You have, as a user, you have access to 5 applications. So you want to do some payable setup, you have to go to payables. Again, if you want to do receivable setups, again you have to switch to receivables responsibility. But here it is not required. You can just go to navigator. For all the application related tasks, you can see here only. You see, first time we are seeing that season, you may feel as it's a little bit confusing. But once you start working on it, you'll find this is very friendly navigation. All the applications here you can see payables, here you can see receivables, here you can see fixed assets. Of course, now you don't see, but I'm telling that's how it is. It will be addressed once you assign the relevant roles to the user. Everything you can see in one go. You can pick and you can proceed with that relevant task. And even this in this environment is some other environments you can see it's a very collapsed manner. You can expand, then only you can see all this. Now it's a very expanded view. Okay, with some few patch impacts and all, they just it's a collapsed view also. They are just giving in few instances. But anyway, within the navigator, this is how you can find. Okay. Any other questions? Once we start working on it, you'll be just understanding and all how easy it will come to know. Like it's compared to EBS, it's pretty easy. Again, you don't need to switch responsibilities, etc., etc. Not required.
Lakshman, regarding for migration part, so here we have for more flexibility to migrate the data for open invoices, credit memo, debit memo. So we have all this functionality, how to migrate, and it's feasible.
It's very simple. What data you can migrate or do the conversion in EBS? What is the possibility you have? That only you can do. Take example, payables payments. Can you do the conversion for payables payments?
No.
Here also no. The same rules are applicable. So whatever you are able to, whatever the data you can take as a part of the data conversion in EBS, the same you can do. But in case of EBS, technical team do that activity. In Fusion, we can do it. That will be covering in our classes how to do it.
Oh.
Yeah. Any other questions? If no questions, we can wind up for today. I'll be sharing today's session and
Lakshman, one more.
after today class. Yeah. Yeah, Vijay.
Yeah, Lakshman, for example, in the real world, for example, it's for the different customers we will be implementing. So how we can identify, because the URL, everything will remain the same, right? But how we can identify that this is for this customer, that is for that customer? I mean, the main customer name, where it is set up and all?
No. Each client will get separate URL.
Okay, the main home URL, what we are seeing is a different URL they'll get.
This is actual URL. I just selected actual URL. The same way, every client will get separate URL. In one instance, we are not going to do implementation for multiple clients. Okay, Oracle won't accept. Yes. Okay, for each client, they will provide 2 dedicated instances. One for testing purpose as a test instance, other one for production. They call as pre-prod.
Okay, so in this URL, I will be seeing my company details, something like some extension of my company name or something in the URL.
Company name they don't provide by default. They will give some in the similar way. So this is just some ECMQ you have see. You can see this, right? This is equal to EBS instance port number.
Okay.
Okay. See, it is our own instance in the sense we can ask our DBA to write any name, right? Within the instance URL. This will be provided by Oracle. They don't write the client names and all. Just they'll generate one instance and they'll give.
Okay. But we can integrate with our SSOs and all, means on-premise SSO and all those things also we can integrate.
Yes.
Okay.
Lakshman, I have a question. So how to customize this home page? So I had a question on that. Because my home page will say.
I'll show you. Just it's all about simple personalization. I'll take one session on that. In any one of the session I'll cover. But just to give you idea, if you want to do any changes within this any page, home page or any pages, what you have to do is first you have to enable the sandbox. Okay, you have to create the sandbox. Here, how to do it? Click on the username. Go to manage sandboxes. Once you do this, then only it will allow for any personalizations. Okay, then create sandbox. Any name you can provide. First you have to create the sandbox, then you have to activate it. In the meantime, any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is my first class actually. I think there was one previous class, right?
Yes. We had yesterday's session on user creation. Prior to that, we had 2 more sessions also. Those are just introduction classes. You can see those videos, you can understand complete information.
Where are those videos?
I'll be sharing along with the today's session and yesterday's session. The total 4 sessions I'll be sharing today.
Okay. Actually, I'm a technical person. I need some information about, suppose, actually we are going to cloud now at this time. There are some implementers for us and they're doing. So I had a question about integrations. Suppose if we need to add a new integration after the implementers leave, what kind of skills do I need?
You are using the SaaS or PaaS?
We are using SaaS, but we have a small PaaS portion for the integrations.
No.
It's a
for integrations, they don't provide any PaaS version. SaaS only will allow for integrations. That might be.
But we have small. We have a PaaS, a small. We have a PaaS solution.
SaaS solution. Okay. If it is a PaaS, you have to be good at ADF for any customizations, functionality customizations. By default, for SaaS or PaaS, SOA. Okay. SOA and VIP. These are the primary areas.
What is the last one you said?
VIP reports.
Oh, okay.
Reports customization. Some EBS like forms customization and the Fusion ADF pages. And any third party inbound or outbound or any other logic of bringing the data, you have to be good enough in the SOA, service oriented architecture.
Okay. So for ADF pages, do I need to know Java and what else?
You have to learn ADF. For that, the prerequisites are Java, etc. That is some stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So do you guys also train in this ADF? No, you don't do that.
No.
Okay. And another question is order management available in cloud?
Yes, available. In the very older versions, not available. Okay. Look at version 8, 9 and all not available. Okay, later they released and now it's available. Order management we have.
Okay. And also, do you have an email address where I can send some email?
Yeah. You received a meeting link from my end. You need that mail ID.
Okay.
You can reach me on. Okay. Or other mail IDs.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay, we created sandbox and say okay, and now select the same. This is sandbox we created. We have to this user. This is the name we enter, right? Select it. Say set active. After activating, you have to go with again user and personalized page or personalized customize. We have options. From there you can do it. I'll be sure I'll take you through this process in class. I'll show you how to change this look and feel and how to change the logo, some other information also which will be useful for us. I'll take you through. Okay,
Yeah,
any
thanks.
questions? Yeah. Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, this is
Hi,
Pratibha here.
Lakshman.
Yeah, please.
Actually, I need some help just after the class as I have pinged you right on the.
Sorry?
I need some help on the location creation.
Location creation. What is the issue?
Maybe like now after like now don't want to hold everybody because
Tell me what is the issue. Just don't mind. I'm asking.
issue is I create the location, I submit, but it still doesn't
Okay,
show
got you.
like
So
I'm not able to proceed further like I need to item organization and all.
Yeah. See, the point is very simple. The instance which you are using within that there is some location creation issue. That is the reason you are facing. I'll share other instance. Okay. See, simple. You can use a existing location. Anyway, we have seen in the classes how to create. Even you created, but whatever you created, that is not showing in the LOV. There is some issue in that specific instance. We are using multiple instances. Whatever you are referring within that, we have an issue. You can proceed with the existing location. There are many locations are available which are already created as a part of Vision. So rest all the configuration.
No, but Lakshman, but the problem is the existing location also I cannot see. I thought I will use an existing location. Maybe I don't know whether that's the instance issue.
Should be available. No issues. I'll look into your issue. Like just send me email by the instance URL because we are using multiple instances. What you could do is you receive the meeting link today, right? Reply to that by specifying the instance URL. I'll just look into that.
Okay. Because I have taken that procurement and order management video, right? I'm going through
one second.
Practicing that.
I'm not talking about anything related to that. Just I'm requesting send me URL. I'll look into that issue. I'll fix it. If that issue,
sure.
I'll share other instance at least immediately.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is
Hi, Lakshman, Mansi here.
Sandbox. 1 second, let me just take.
I have one question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question. In which scenario the client will go for 2 subscriptions, that is for SaaS and PaaS? Earlier, one person asked the question that they have the 2 subscriptions, both SaaS and PaaS.
See, SaaS and PaaS, simple. See, they might be doing. They may be like having business in the multiple countries. For few countries, they may go with the SaaS, and few countries based on their business process, or if they have a different vertical of businesses, for one model they can go with the SaaS. Other businesses where some customization need to be done, they may go with the PaaS. Okay,
we can have the multiple subscription if required.
One is enough. That is exceptional cases. Say client has SaaS and PaaS, means we have to check with them why they are using. But ideal scenarios are, say they are running the business. They have two different businesses. So one business is very standard process which Oracle is providing that can be supported, and there is some other business which they are doing a completely different entity. In that case, if they are okay to manage that information separately, or separately in that case for that specific area of the business, they may go with the PaaS where they need to do some kind of customizations. Okay, that's how it works. The instances are going to
Okay.
be different, but they have to take decision whether they are okay to go with the two different instances. Subscription, SaaS or PaaS, secondary thing. First instance will be different. In that case, they'll lose a lot of benefits which they can take from the ERP product, right? Again, within the same environment, different businesses also, the data can be, we can flow the data with the relevant by doing some relevant configuration. But instances are totally different. The total data will be separated, and it's not easy to communicate these two systems in terms of some transactional process or data transfers.
Yeah, right. That was a confusion, because why, in which scenarios they will go for these two models. That was the confusion for me.
Maybe different entities, the same client, they want to run the different entities data separately. Again, the scenario is one business doesn't require any customization, other business has a complex business scenarios. That could be the reason. Otherwise, so maybe different countries, okay, maybe they want to take a trial with that one country, they don't want to go with this pass, and other country they want to go with different business reasons. Business reasons means nothing but business process only primarily, which require customization, which doesn't require customizations. That's all. And
Okay.
the exact facts we will come to know by asking them only, but these are very generic reasons. Right.
Okay, got your point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so this is how you can create the sandbox and you can enable. After that, you can go to user, and here you can say customize pages. By following this process, you can do 6 changes. Okay. Anyway, now it's almost 9 o'clock. We'll be covering in some other session. Now, anyway, it's not required in the maybe middle of the course and all. I'll be covering. Okay, this is how that edit layer, site layer, and user interface, and there's here a lot of information you can find. Some selections, structures, some changes, these names and this icon. Logo. Okay, some structure changes, etc., etc. Many things you can do it.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see that anyway. I'll just cover this. Any questions from anyone, please?
Hi, Lakshman. Would it be possible to for you to call after this meeting? I would like to talk.
Sure, Albert. We'll do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Lakshman, one small question. Means in the past, actually, we can customize any page, or like in EBS, we have restrictions like few pages only customized, right? So the same thing is applicable for cloud also.
You can create new pages also. You can do anything.
Okay, means the existing pages also, like the Oracle standard page also, we can extend and all, like how we do it in EBS.
Yeah, you can do that.
So that is
yes. Whatever you do in your EBS on-premise environment, the same you can do in case of EBS with respect to customizations.
Only for a PaaS.
PaaS, only in PaaS, yes.
Okay, so PaaS is also something like an Oracle provided infrastructure, right? It is not something like our DBS will install. It's also maintained by the Oracle DBS only.
Yeah, PaaS, platform as a service. That means they'll provide platform. Platform is nothing but the environment where you can go and do the development, and that only will allow you to deploy also in the same environment. That's it. No, DBS are not going to involve in that. They'll provision. They'll give the access to that application development environment.
Okay, so patches and all Oracle only will take care.
Yeah, they'll take care of. We don't need to do anything. Only just we have to specify which subscription. Accordingly, they'll charge and they'll provide. That's all.
Only difference is this customization pages, new pages can be created. That is the only main difference.
Other than that, rest remains same.
Okay.
And you can come up with some custom logics, custom PLLs, etc., etc. Those also you'll be able to do it in case of PaaS. In SaaS, basic personalizations only you can do, not very advanced.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So any questions from anyone, please? Fine, seems to no questions. So that's all.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
Lakshman, just I wanted to know, even for EPPM, okay, we can use the same instance, right? To do the setups.
Yeah, you can.
It is a single, instance basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
because any other instance like previously what we shared, what are the instance you are getting, you can use any one of the instance.
Thanks, Lakshman. I'll wait for your email for videos and instance.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. So any questions, please? If no questions, we can wind up for today. I'll be sharing this 4 sessions video after some time today. Maybe it may take 2 to 3 hours time for me to convert this current session video. Once that is done, the 4 session videos I'll be sharing with everyone. Any questions from anyone, please?
Yeah, and Lakshman, when can we get student guide?
That I'll be just sharing maybe in the mid of the course. But now it's not required, right? We not yet started with anything. So mid of the course,
Sure.
I'll be placing in the drive itself. You can access from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks. Okay, thank you all. Have a good day and good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.